You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Friday morning's edition. This is the Friday after Christmas. So guess what this Sunday is? It's the first of the year. So, if you're watching this on Friday morning and you're saying, hey, I need to get a set of tires, I need to do it before the first of the year because, it's going to be a business expense and I want to apply it to 2016. Now's the day to do it because after today, Hansson's only going to be open till, I don't know if you'll be open tomorrow or not on New Year's Eve day.
Yes, we will be.
Okay.
We're open both Saturdays, before Christmas and the Saturday before New Year's Eve.
Well, we're doing this show. We're on vacation during that week, Hansson. So this show, we're doing it today. It's recorded. It's going to play on that day, on Friday morning. And I want people to realize that we are here every morning except this week, answering your questions. So if people have a car question or a tire question, they can actually call during these segments and ask me or ask you. And you can give them some pretty good advice about tires. One of the things that people have been asking me about tires is, are all tires, I know they're expensive, but what's the main difference between tires? And I tell them it's ride and durability and traction. Those are the three main differences between tires. Am I saying that correctly, or what are the differences?
You're absolutely right. Tires I would kind of compare them to what a mattress is. They all look alike on the outside, but usually what's inside is what really counts.
That is true.
That sounds like human beings, too. Okay.
Got me there, yeah. True. Just the package may look the same. Their tires are round and black. That's all we know, and that's what most people know. And they're black, and they're round, and they got tread on them. But people ask me, why is this one tire $100 and the same size tire for my car, another one is $200? I go, well, it's apples and oranges.
Well, and you're right that the rubber compound is important, which is it varies a lot from one manufacturer to the other manufacturer. And big companies usually have a big research department that really breaks down the rubber compound into how long it lasts, how it adheres to the road, all those things they consider when they're manufacturing. Where some of the lesser brands, really they just take a rubber compound that they get off the back of a truck and make a tire out of it.
And that's okay, excuse me, I'll make sure I get my thoughts straight here. I know in gasoline we have top tier fuels, and top tier fuel manufacturers are like Exxon, Shell, BP, Mobil. Those are top tier fuels because they have detergent additives in them to give people better fuel mileage, to keep from building carbon deposits and getting rid of all the carbon deposits that are left after a combustion process. But you're saying the same thing is on tires. It may be like gasoline as far as it's a gasoline, but it's not a top tier tire, so to speak. It's not the best type tire for your vehicle, and that's the main difference in price. It's like getting gasoline from the Canon station versus getting gasoline from the Exxon station.
But, it's absolutely right. And then the actual manufacturing process, of course, a lot of times is more expensive. The more intricate, I'm having a hard time saying the more refined the tread design is, the more expensive it is to manufacture. How about that?
That sounds reasonable. Early in the morning, it's hard to get some words to come out of my mouth as well.
If you look at a tire and it has little squiggly lines in it, which they refer to as sipes, those are more difficult to manufacture because the rubber compound likes to stick to the mold when they manufacture the tire. So the molds don't last as long, and it's more difficult to clean the mold after the tire has been produced.
I didn't think about that. I guess that molds have to be cleaned because there's sometimes, I guess, it's like making brownies. I mean, sometimes when you pop the brownies out, some of the brownie stays inside the mold.
Exactly. Now, they spray it with, it's almost like a non-stick spray before they pop it in there. But after a while, things tend to stick. You do 1,000 tires.
There it is. Every time I call, I swear. Every Friday morning,
that's
right
funny.
like clockwork.
Well, that's good.
It is. That's great. I'm glad they're calling. Oh, they always hang up. Well, they'll call back again. But they will. But people call you because they hear you on the television. They want to buy tires. Boy, they're going crazy this morning. I tell you, I love you. But tires out there really make a difference, and people really need to have good tires that are younger than 5 years old. I get people coming all the time with 8, 9, 10, 30 seconds of rubber left, but the tires are 6, 7, 8 years old, and they look at me like I'm from outer space when I say these tires are no good. And they go,
well, again, you go back to the comparison of a brownie. You might still be able to eat a brownie 5 years from now, but it's not a good brownie anymore.
Well, it depends what's in it.
That's another show. I don't know.
I had to throw that in there. But you're all right. But because the fresher the tire is, the better handling it is, the better traction it has. Where as they get older, they become harder, like brownies do, and they don't grip the road as well. They dry out. I guess that's the way it's said, because I've seen you pick up brand new tires and they feel soft and rubbery, but you pick up a tire that's 4, 5, 6 years old and they feel hard, and you get that black stuff on your hands from the tire degrading over a period of time. Does the sun do that, or just what's inside the tire make them fall apart?
Two things happen. You're absolutely right. The sun, again, the UV rays break down the rubber compound.
Okay.
And also heat, of course, over time stiffens the rubber and also stiffens, the other components, which are nylon and steel and all those things inside the tire. So over time, all those things have a tendency to break down. And, of course, heat is always the big culprit in doing that.
Now, tires get hotter than they should be for what reason that you can think of?
Of course, low air pressure.
I want people to realize that, and when the hotter they get, the harder the tire gets and the least amount of time the tire lasts. So proper air pressure makes the tire last longer, handle better, and
well, I get it still all the time is, well, the manufacturer suggests 32 pounds. I say, hey, let's try something. Let's put 37 pounds in it, which is 5 pounds more than what the manufacturers recommend, and see how you like the ride. I don't think you'll notice the difference. A, your tire light won't come on as often when there's temperature changes.
Oh, yeah.
And B, the tire actually will stick to the road better.
I saw something I haven't seen in years. I had a car come in yesterday, and the middle of the tire was wore out, and the edges were perfect. I looked at the customer and said, I haven't seen this in years. These tires are overinflated, and they're wore from the inside, from the middle, and the outsides are fine. Checked the air pressure out, had 60 pounds of air in the tires. And I went, sir, I understand you're trying to keep a little bit more air in here, but 60 is kind of a little high. Let's drop it down to 40 and let's see what happens. Dropped it down to 40. I said, let's go for a ride. And he said, this car rides so much smoother. And I said, yes, sir. And it's higher air pressure than what the door placard says. I think the door placard said 32. We got him at 40 PSI. The tire may last a little longer. It's almost down to 4 30-seconds in the middle and about 9 30-seconds on the edges. So that gives you an idea what a difference it was. So it won't be very long before he'll be changing that tire, those 2 tires out, at least 2 of them. But that's the first time I've seen a tire wearing due to overinflation, but it was 25 pounds overinflated.
Yeah, that's too much. Yeah, I see a lot of times even some of the hypermilers in the
like on Priuses
and like the Volts, they like to really, put air pressure in there, and they run 50 pounds. But the car is so light that it really makes not a huge amount of difference on how the tire winds up wearing.
Well, I run 51 pounds in my Michelin tires I bought from you, my low rolling resistant tires, and I get 46 combined mileage in highway and city, and when I just do city, if I do just city only, I get 51, 52. Because it's like, because it gets better fuel mileage in town because you can let that battery do the work. You keep it around 35, 40 miles per hour and you get great fuel mileage. But when you get on the highway and you're doing 65 miles an hour, that engine's running the entire time and you just don't get the mileage you could if you're running on blend or battery.
And there again, you talked about low rolling resistance. It makes a difference from one manufacturer to the other manufacturer.
True. You're right.
And usually the best mileage tire, not only, longevity-wise, but mileage actually for the vehicle is low rolling resistance. And the more you spend on the tire, the better it usually gets.
Well, give you an example. My Prius, the first 35,000 miles, it got a brand new set of tires on it from the customer had it. He already put a brand new set of tires after 35,000 miles on it. I drove it another 30,000 miles and had to put another set of tires on it. So I got about 60,000 miles. At 60,000 miles, I've got a set of Michelin low rolling resistant tires, and now I'm pushing 120,000 miles, and I still have more than 730 seconds of tread left. By me paying the extra money and getting a better tire, I'm getting 2, maybe 3 times the mileage out of the tires in the 5-year period of time.
And one of the reasons your tires wore out prematurely was your alignment was out.
Well, that's true. And it
was the rear.
It was the rear alignment. Yeah. Hansson, do people argue with you about doing a rear end alignment sometimes?
Yeah, you know, on a lot of these smaller cars, Hondas, Toyotas, you know, we recommend you do a 4-point alignment. We still, you know, even if you only align the 2 tires on the front, you still hook up all 4 of them. Mm-hmm. But most of these cars also have rear adjustment.
They do.
And it's really not that huge of a deal. Some people come here and say, hey, my car is pulling in this direction, and they did an alignment, and we go, did they adjust the rear? And they say, no, I don't think so. And all of a sudden, you know, you adjust the rear, that thrust angle, which is what they call it in the alignment terms, is set straight again, and no problems at all.
If I understand correctly, to do a proper alignment, the rear end has to be set first. Get the thrust angle set correctly, then you set the front end. Too many people only set the front end and leave the rear end alone, and that causes wandering, steering problems, what I call dog leg or crabbing, going down the road where the car looks like or truck looks like it's going sideways down the road. I'm sure you see that all the time.
All the time, and you're absolutely right. You do the rear end first, and then even if the front end was set before, it usually throws it out a little bit because they've changed that thrust angle.
It does.
And then you set the toe and everything on the front end again, and it's perfect most of the time. And even sometimes something as minute as the steering wheel being off had really nothing to do with the front end, but more to do with the rear end.
Now, I will tell people that own Priuses out there, I can't tell you about the Generation 3 or the Generation 4, but if you own a Generation 1 or Generation 2, it's a pain in the butt to change the camber on them, as you're well. You have to buy those special shims.
You have to buy a kit.
Yeah, and it's a pain in the butt. But when you get it right, it's nice and it usually stays there. But we found out that my rear end being out of alignment was causing me to lose 2 miles per gallon and my tires to wear out. So when people that own Priuses, like hypermilers like myself, that want to keep that 46 to 51 miles per gallon, if we lose a couple of miles per gallon, we start getting a little antsy about it. But what I have found out in most cases, it's something that's preventable, like alignments, tire pressure, spark plugs, dirty injectors. I have found out that spark plugs on Priuses really should be changed about every 30,000 miles, which is not on the owner's manual. And the only reason I'm saying that is from personal experience. After 30,000 miles, my mileage starts to fall off about 1.5 miles per gallon. I put a set of spark plugs in it, mileage back to normal again. So just,
you know, recently we did a alignment on a Tesla.
Oh.
The actual representative from Tesla came.
Yes.
They have regional representatives here. And he showed us, you know, he wanted to use our alignment machine and said, sure, no problem, you know, you can use it. And he actually did an alignment, which was not very difficult to do.
It's the same as
once
most cars.
you knew a little bit of the minute differences between a regular car and a Tesla, and it turned out perfect. So it was very exciting, actually, to have a representative here showing us how to do it.
Well, we got to talk about that more and more. We're up against the clock and can't go anymore. That's exciting. I saw a Tesla yesterday, Tesla S. I said, man, if I hadn't run for office, I could have one of those.
I know. That's a hard choice right there, brother.
They are really pretty cars, and they have a range of 320 miles per charge. It's so hard to believe, you know.
And the electric cars are coming. I mean,
they
there's
are.
So many on the horizon right now. It's unbelievable. There's like 5 or 6 different manufacturers that want to put out a car within the next 2 to 3 years.
I venture to say in the next 10 years, seeing a cars going down the road without anybody in them will be a common sight. No one will even think twice about a driverless car in 10 years from now. You'll see cars going down the road with no one in the front seat. And pretty soon, I venture to say, you'll see big trucks going down the highway with no one in the seat.
maybe there'll be a car that can drive to work and do the work for me, and I'll just stay at home. How about that?
I think you're living in la la land on that one. That's not going to happen. No one in our business, no one can replace the person that actually does the service and repairs on the vehicles. We have job security with electric cars or hybrid cars or hydrogen cars or conventional internal combustion engine cars. No matter what's on the road, they always get broke. They always have crashes.
You're absolutely right. The Tesla still needed, several people working on it to repair it. So yes, there's always job security.
There's always going to be tires. There's always going to be brakes. There's always going to be suspension. Hey, we got to go. We're against the break. We went way too long on this one. So when I talk to Mark, I can only go like 12 minutes with him. All right, Hansson, I'll talk to you not next week because we're on vacation. I'll talk to you the week after, okay?
Have a great New Year's.
Thank you. You too. Happy New Year's.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.